Sunday, February 23rd, 2025. Wisdom. Today we affirm, wisdom guides my words and actions. And our message reads, when I have felt torn trying to decide which way to go or how to handle a trying situation, I may have asked in prayer for insight and guidance. As I have grown spiritually, I have come to realize that any insight and guidance I could need are within me, aspects of my divine inheritance. Divine wisdom is my ability to intuit, to sense, and to discern my best choice. I pay attention to my hunches, flashes of inspiration, and the whispers of guidance I feel in my quiet moments. I believe they are divinely inspired, even if they surprise me. In confidence and with gratitude, I move in the direction of my highest good, trusting in my innate wisdom. Our Bible verse for today is from Isaiah 30:21. And when you turn to the right or when you turn to the left, your ear shall hear a word behind you, saying, this is the way, walk in it.
I love the hearts. It's really cute. Okay, well, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here and good morning. And I'm here to talk for the second time about near-death experiences. I think I'm officially an addict, I guess, because I listen to them, at least once a day, and I just find myself continually inspired and fascinated and really connecting the dots between these experiences. So Ron, my partner, has been listening to me talking about these experiences a lot and watching some of them with me. And he suggested that I talk about what they mean to me. And I thought that was a really good idea because they really have been impactful on my life. And I thought about the last time I talked about them, and it was fairly academic. It was the history of NDEs with Raymond Moody and George Ritchie, and it was about, about how they agreed or disagreed with the Bible, and about my friend Patrick, who actually experienced an NDE after a heart attack, and he encountered his dead brother. And if you want to review those concepts, the video is there on Neil's YouTube channel. It was on June 2nd of 2024. So the thing that I guess it might be a struggle of mine to talk about the emotional stuff. It's not that I'm, I don't know. It's not that I'm against that. I think that's the most important part of what we do, is to express the emotion. But it's not my comfort zone. So the facts and figures are more of a comfort zone. So I'm going to talk to you from my heart today, and I'll do my very best. First, I just have to say that nothing that I say will be able to convey the power of what these folks experience, what they report. Mere words just can't be enough. And they say that. They say the experiences are ineffable. There's just not the words here to describe it. But you get an idea of the power of the experiences by the fact that these people are changed forever. If they were atheists, they come back believers. If they were a bad person, they come back reformed. They understand the negative impact of their actions. Many come back and change vocations, becoming preachers or ministers. One interview that I watched included both the near-death experiencer and the homeowner. This guy was a pest exterminator, and he crawled into this man's crawl space and he got electrocuted. And he heard the voice of God, and the homeowner when he was being interviewed, said, "A bug guy crawled into my basement and I pulled a preacher out," because he was changed in an instant. They often come back with psychic gifts and other sensitivities. So I think you get the idea. They're profoundly changed by what they heard and what they saw. And some other things they say is that there's no colors that exist on Earth. They see colors over there, I mean, that don't exist on Earth. That is something I would have never thought of, to say the heaven was like, that there's music over there that doesn't exist on Earth. So I want to read you a little excerpt, because I haven't seen very many international near-death experiences. The most of the YouTube videos, which is my primary format, is from people in America. And this one was from Iraq. And it was written out on the Ender website. That's NDERF. It's the Near-Death Experience Research Foundation.org. So they had, this person lived in Iraq but spoke English, so it was written in English. I was surrounded completely in bright light. It was such a peaceful, warm feeling that others on Earth can't even imagine. It was such a lovely color, just like colors of a rainbow, but much brighter and unbelievable. I was in a place surrounded with scenery like hills or green areas. I could hear a very soft music, like something I've never heard before. So that's just a little tidbit. They say that that world feels like the real world, and this one feels like the dream. So, what can we, mere mortals, do but use our imaginations the best we can to bring that understanding and that power home with these people that are just doing their humanly best to express. They express utter joy, and the instant they're out of their bodies, I mean, it doesn't just, happen gradually. Most of them say the instant they were out of their bodies and they were looking at their dead body lying there in front of them, they felt an instant sense of peace and calm and overwhelming love. They say the strongest unconditional love you've ever felt on earth is like a pinprick compared to the immense feeling of love on the other side. But even with all these glorious words, nobody can express an NDE the way an actual experiencer can. So I've picked out one of my favorite NDEs to share with you all today. It'll be about 7 minutes. And this is I'm going to shorten it. The video is longer than that, but the beginning is just the description of who he is and what he does and how he died. So this person is Bill Dolan. He is a TV producer, and he had this experience in 1999. He states that he was very busy with all his TV production work, flying all over the world. And so he was not there for his wife and children, even though he felt like he was working hard for them and doing the right thing. And he was on a flight with a friend flying to Nashville to distribute his latest project when he started feeling very strange. And he no sooner had spoken those words to his friend that he died right there in his airplane seat. And his friend resuscitated him a few minutes later in the aisle. And while he was dead, he had this experience. And I'm going to share my screen with you. And now it's not working. Okay. Sorry, folks. Just watch. There we go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to
Can you guys hear this? Yeah, okay.
that experience. As for the plane, Timothy was
working on me. He doesn't know, maybe 2, 3, 4 minutes. He panicked. But I will tell you that for me, I had the most profound experience you could ever imagine. For all practical purposes, when in the dimension of time and space, he was working on me for 2, 3, 4 minutes. I may have been away for 2, 3, 4 million years because it was in that second, that blink of an eye, crossed over from the dimension of time and space to the dimension of no time to eternity. I recognized I into a place where everything that ever has happened and everything that ever will happen has happened. And it's a profound revelation. But without a doubt, the most powerful thing I experienced is coming face to face with God. So you have a little context why that's so meaningful, as if coming face to face with God wasn't meaningful enough. Growing up, father was very ill. And through most of my growing up years, he was actually supposed to die. And he had a hideous, hideous disease, caused so much pain in him that he constantly was lashing out. Like a lot of people that are in pain, you lash out at people that are near you. That was me. So I experienced a lot of verbal abuse, physical abuse. And it was tough. It was tough growing up. But probably the worst part about that is that a lot of us will superimpose our perceptions of God based upon our experience with authorities in our life, particularly our parents. And even though I grew up in a religious household, and well, I could tell you all the things people say. Does God love you? Oh yeah, God loves you. Does God care about you? Oh yeah, God cares about you. Do you love God? Oh yeah, well, I love God. I could give lip service to all that stuff. But secretly, if you asked me if I ever wanted to come face to face with God, no, no, no. I was so convinced that if I ever came face to face with God, he's going to take his finger, put it right in my face, and let me know you failed. You so disappointed me. You never lived up to your potential. You make me so angry. And I could hear the echoes of my father's voice superimposed over what I believed was the voice of God. So if he said, "Do you love God?" I was, "Oh, I love God." "Do you ever want to meet God?" "No, I'm not sure I could take it. I don't want to be subjected to the horror of having the creator of the universe tell me what failure I was." But I'll never forget that overwhelming sensation of being in the presence of the divine. And it's as if like a laser beam went through my head, and all of a sudden I understood. I understood things that I never understood before. I felt things I hadn't felt before. And whoever this was in front of me, I trusted. And I was overwhelmed with pure love. It wasn't like the kind of love like, "I love you, and I'm going to treat you with love. I'm going to act like I love you and do loving things." No, I was in the presence of the total embodiment of love. I was in the presence of the author of love. I was in the presence of the source of love. It was consuming, totally consuming. It's as if I tried to look to the right, to say, "Oh, there's an end of this." No, there was no end. I could look to the left, I could look up, I could look. God was infinite. In the presence of God's love and who he was as infinite and as deep and eternal as he was eternal. So is his love. It changes you. It changed me. There was a point where it was time to come back. It wasn't as if we had this divine talk and we walked down golden rules. It was nothing like I've read about other people saying or angels singing. In fact, I couldn't even tell you if I was in heaven per se. Verification signs like welcome to heaven. Nothing like that. I was in the presence of God. That was all that mattered. That's all that mattered. It's time to come back. A lot of people talk about the tunnel experience. As if when you die, you go through a tunnel. I mean, when I died, my heart stopped. It was like really transformed from the dimension of time and space to the time of eternity, the dimension of infinity. Coming back, that was where the journey was. It was as if every scene of my life had been cut up into tiny puzzle pieces, and it was blowing at me like a tornado. And I was blowing through that tunnel of scene after scene after scene after scene after scene after scene after scene after, and then went back. I honestly wish everybody could die and come back because it would change how you live. The first part, maybe, it's simply a recognition that your life is a gift. Each breath you take is a gift. It's abundantly clear that even as I'm here with you now, the breath I take, I don't earn it. Let's say I deserve it. So this is the fact that we're here right now, breathing together. It's a gift. It's a gift from God. And it is a gift that doesn't just say, I love you, I acknowledge you. It's a gift that says, you're here for a purpose. The gift you're about to take, the breath you're about to take, and the gift that you're about to receive isn't given arbitrarily. It's given because there is a powerful divine purpose. And just because you might not feel like you know that purpose doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Life is walking in that discovery process and learning that, and discovering that, and being patient with that, and then celebrating that, but without a doubt that it exists. The other piece just blew me away. Is that the creator of the universe doesn't just know you, doesn't just like you, doesn't just love you. The creator of the universe is madly in love with you, madly in love with you, has hoped every hope with you, has dreamed every dream, has shed every tear, has felt those moments where we've had doubts and concerns and questions. He's been there with you the whole way. And in fact, it's not just loving you, not just madly loving you, but the creator of the universe is your greatest cheerleader, your biggest cheerleader. So when I think about the privilege of dying and coming back, a lot of lessons that I can tell you, it's been several years. It's not a day goes by that I don't recognize how powerful the privilege it was to have that experience. Something about God every day. And I believe that's hopefully so everyone will take. God is willing to be trusted. Your life has meaning and purpose. And if you're willing to show up, that you're going to experience hardship, tragedy, wonder, triumph, the most exciting age-turning story that anyone can ever live. Here's the purpose.
Thanks for watching today's video. If you want to learn how to create a profitable YouTube channel like this one, click the link in the description and let us show you how.
Okay. So, pretty moving, right? Why don't we unmute and share your impressions, or if you have any reactions, anything to say about that. It was obvious how moved he was by his experience. He teared up a couple of times. I teared up listening to him. Anybody?
No volunteers? I'll volunteer. It always amazes me how regardless of how articulate someone tries to express this, language fails. It just doesn't match what you can sense that they are feeling within themselves and trying to express to us in the outer. And and I'm always grateful to them for attempting to express what they experienced. But it's and he did a great job, I thought, a really good job. But still, language fails.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I chose this one in particular. It was not too long, and being a TV producer and a storyteller, I thought the way he expressed himself was really moving and really good. And he expressed the full gamut of, all this pain he had experienced, and then moving from that to the reality of coming face to face with God. And I wish I could have an NDE. I do. I wish I could have the NDE without the death part, but but yeah, to have that experience. It's the most mind-blowing experience that these folks have ever had. Any thoughts?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I just want to thank you for sharing the video, because I had not seen one before. I had just read all these books about experiences, and to watch a guy that experienced it, and you could see some of his emotion, it just was more powerful than just reading it. So thank you, Melanie.
Thanks, Marge.
I just wanted to say that if people didn't notice it, matched the Daily Word exactly. And I don't know if anybody looked at the Daily Word before, but what he said definitely matched the Bible verse. He said if you look to the left and you look to the right, you saw all this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was kind of using the same words.
Yeah.
Wasn't he? Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Observation, Zach. Yeah, the word wisdom did strike me as, oh yeah, that's perfect. It's like people come back full of all kinds of wisdom, but I missed the Bible verse. That's awesome. Can anybody read the Bible verse again from the?
I can do it. And when you turn to the right or when you turn to the left, your ears shall hear a word behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it."
Oh my gosh, Peter. That is good catch. Oh, that gave me chills. Neil.
I just want to share that, remember before Jeff passed, he was just caught up and so excited about reading about NDEs, as if he knew something was coming for him. And, we miss him. And I held this book up before, and then Ron held up another book. But this is a book that Jessie, my wife, is reading right now, that we don't die.
Mm.
And for those of you that are looking for just another proof of that, just if you get a chance to read this person's book, the Andersons, and it will give you another perspective how people, can talk to the other side and receive messages from the other side to help people that are bereaved on this side and give them hope and so forth. So.
Yeah, and clearly the message from me. Was anybody else wanting to say anything before I?
Melanie, he just said messages from the other side. I know I shared this with you, but I just want to share that before my grandson was born, he came to me and he kept saying, "Grandma, don't worry about me. I'm fine. Look at me." He kept saying it, and I saw what he looked like, and he kept saying, "Grandma, don't worry about me. I'm fine. Look at me." And then I knew who he was. He was around 12 in that dream vision. And it's exactly what he looked like when he was 12 and who he is inside. Now, how can I know before he's born what he looks like? It's just proof to me that we're what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Not only don't die, but we come in lifetime after lifetime. That's pretty cool, Marge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and I was thinking, the book I think is right. We don't die. The people that
Go back to that.
whose humanly bodies die experience seeing themselves dead wherever they are, but they feel exactly the same as they did before. Now, of course, all we have are the initial glimpses, right? Some people go further into these incredible journeys through the universe, and really fantastic stories. But the fact that we don't die seems definitely, unquestionable, because even for the skeptics, I mean, I don't think we have any skeptics here, but even for the skeptics, there are people who die on the operating table and who describe everything that happens accurately. That person said this, they did that, that person did this, they did, and they say everything that happened, and then somebody accuses them of having a hallucination. Well, I don't know any hallucination that can cause an accurate description of an operating room scene while you're dead. It just patently to me.
And they can describe what happened in other rooms.
In other rooms outside the hospital with family members that are getting on an airplane and coming to see them and what they're thinking. And I mean, yeah, exactly. So one of the things that I get from these, many things, believe me, I had a hard time paring this down for you guys, because I'm like, I've got to just narrow this down to a few different concepts to talk about, because there's so much. But one of them is the instant nature of energy on the other side. And what I mean by that is when they think of a person, they're instantly with them. They think of their mother and they're with their mother, wherever their mother is. They think of a question and it's instantly answered. One woman, one of these operating room ones that I listened to, she saw this monitor and she heard it go beep, like a flat line. And she looked at it and she wanted to see it better. And instantly she was like up close and personal with that monitor, watching the flat line that was her heart no longer beating. So on the other side, the universe responds like that. And it's our thought and our intention that the universe is responding to. And I think that this is interesting because in this dense 3D experience, we don't have that experience of the universe, unless, sometimes we have examples where we think of someone and they call us. There's things like that do happen, and maybe that's a manifestation of that kind of a phenomenon here on Earth. But if we imagine that kind of a concept as our manifesting power, whatever you think of, you are actually manifesting in a spiritual realm. On the other side, it is happening that way. You think of it and you have it. You'd mind your thoughts. You'd be careful what you thought about, because we think of so many things we don't actually want. We think about the fearful things and the worst case scenarios. And that's just the normal, I think that's just the normal programming, the human brain. But we would try to keep ourselves in the presence of spirit, of goodness, and of love as much as we could. And we would program our brains for that. It's the power. I link this concept to the power of prayer, that when we see our loved ones or people who need healing, that we are in an energetic level bringing about those healings and the well wishes that we have for our loved ones. So I guess we all kind of know this, but what these experiences do for me is it gives me maybe a deeper understanding of how it works on the other side, and it makes it more meaningful and impactful to me to be able to have those visualizations. Another one of the major themes is that we're here to learn, and you heard Mr. Dolan in that video say something to that effect, that we're here for a purpose. There was no question in his mind. We are here for something, for a purpose. And as a lot of people describe meeting God as Mr. Dolan did. Sometimes it's Christ, sometimes it's an archangel or a family member, somebody that's predeceased them, like Patrick, my friend, meeting his brother. And sometimes it's a being I've never heard of. But the words that they are told on the other side just ring so true. It's not proselytizing, it's not dogma. There are some, you have to kind of be careful, because there are some that I've heard that sound like somebody's just trying to make it sound like the Bible. I believe these are, verifications of the truth of the Bible, but there are things that don't ring true to me. I guess maybe it's just subjective. So I work to absorb the ones that I hear that have these words of wisdom from the other side that feel impactful. I allow it to lift me up. I work to integrate that wisdom into the way I think and the way I live. That to know without a doubt that I'm here for something. I don't know what it is, and none of us do. We're not told, and that's on purpose. Like, they've actually been told on the other side, you have to go back, and we're not going to tell you why. Okay? Because we're just supposed to do the best we can. Okay, all right, so that's the faith. That's the faith. All right, whatever's happening in my life, it is happening. It really is. It's like a trite saying, oh, everything happens for a reason. But yeah, I think it really does. So it's up to us to take that lesson seriously, to say, okay, what is in this for me? Where's the silver lining? What am I supposed to be getting from this? I don't understand. But to just keep asking that question. That's biblical. Ask, seek, and knock, right? So that's one of the dots that I connected that I feel is, something, a lesson from the near-death stories. So, life here on Earth School is hard. Scary things are happening, and we can choose to run and shrink and try to avoid our lessons, and a lot of people do. And I think that that's one of the primary things behind addictions. I have some people experiencing that in my own family. I don't think that we're judged for making the wrong choices. Like folks who all of us have tried to run or avoid it at some point in our lives, who can, you go through really hard things. It's hard to just mentally wrap our heads and hearts around, but we're not judged for it. When we meet that being of love, that author of love, as Mr. Dolan said so eloquently, oh my gosh, the author of love. That love is what we are held in as we see our life review. All of our mistakes, all of our successes, and we are celebrated for our successes, and we are held in a loving embrace of understanding for our mistakes. And so the judgment doesn't exist. We might judge ourselves. We might say, oh, I do really feel ashamed of that. I'm sorry I did that. And we will see how our words and actions affected other people for better and worse. There was a couple of them that I had as examples. There's one woman who smiled she was in the grocery store, and she smiled at a lady who was in a wheelchair, and she was shown how that improved that lady's day and how she went on to affect other people positively through her day. There was somebody else, a man, who was shown a time he drove in his high-powered sports car across a bridge, and he thoughtlessly tossed a candy wrapper out the window. And he, in his review, followed that candy wrapper all the way down to the river and was shown the literal downstream effects of that, which seems so inconsequential. Why would he be shown that? But I think it just goes to show that even the smallest little things, like the butterfly wings, that we are having an impact on the world and on other people in what we say, think, and do. And that's, a little intimidating, because it's, it kind of amps up the responsibility in my mind, to be alert for what it is that I'm saying and doing. As somebody who can kind of spew kind of thoughtlessly, I have to be, I know that's one of my lessons. One of my lessons is to be more intentional. So We are powerful. That's just the bottom line. We are powerful beings. And this is something maybe kind of silly, but I've heard that there's a lot of young people whose job goal is to be an influencer on social media. And like, it's the most common desire. I'm like, okay, well, the good news is we are all influencers. Every single one of us. We don't necessarily know how influential we are, but we are already influencers. So what the way I've look at this, from that passionate description from Mr. Dolan is that we're training for love. We're in Earth School and we're training for love. That is all that matters. That is all that matters. And that is all that matters. Love, love, and love. Think of whatever song you want. Love, 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 do, 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 love, love, love. There's one by Michael Gott that I just love. There is only love. That one. I wish we were still doing music because I would sing it for you. But we're training for the Olympics of love. Like, this is hard. We have to really train and work out every day in order to get ourselves to that space of love, but we're training for the Olympics of love. So the effect on me, as I talked about at the beginning, they have changed my feelings. I feel like they have brought me closer to love, and closer to what I think of as a truer version of heaven. They've changed my beliefs. They made me really believe in Jesus. I mean, I kind of believed in Jesus, kind of like, probably true. Maybe he lived, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But a lot of people talk about meeting Jesus and how incredible it is. Just like, like the experience of Mr. Dolan. Even atheists meet Jesus. And one I remember, he said, I don't believe in you. And Jesus laughed. And I'm like, wow, that's exactly what I would think Jesus would do. And there was even one Muslim I watched who met Jesus, but there's other people from other countries who meet the deity that they believe in. There's a man who does podcasts who interviews a lot of near-death experiencers. His name is Alex Ferrari. He does a podcast called Next Level Soul. And I just want to let you guys know that I've sent Neil a list of some of my favorite near-death experience videos, and it's just a small sampling. But the Next Level Soul, there's a couple of Alex's in there, and he was a movie producer before he got into podcasting. And he has heard Jesus come up so often in so many near-death experiences that he calls him the hardest working man in show business. So I thought that was kind of cute. So these are little, like, and here's another thing. They're often told that they are supposed to come back and share their story. So I know that these things are being given to us for a reason. We have the technology, we have the level of consciousness and enlightenment that's allowing people to really open up and be free to believe in these things and not have to be so stuck in fear and dogma. And it's a great blessing that we're in this time, that we can absorb this kind of material. We're here to evolve, and I feel like for me, these videos are helping me to evolve. So that's all I have for you today. And if you would like to make any comments, I'm open to. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Neil. I got to learn how to do that.
Well, I could.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you, Melanie. When you said about how you do some small thing and like the leaf going down the river and all. I remember a long time ago, I think I was in my 20s, and I walked into this restaurant. And I was really upset. And there was a crowd, and there was this little girl, maybe 8, and she looked at me and she smiled. And then this then was gone in the crowd, and it just changed me. And I thought, wow, just that little smile. And so it kind of brought home what you were saying, how we just do a little thing, it can make such a huge difference, which I hadn't thought about in a long time till you said that. So thank you again.
Thank you, Marge.
I'm going to stop the recording and, unless somebody wants to be recorded and state anything that would be for the good of the order or for this talk today. So if you want to speak up now, go ahead, and then I'll stop the recording. 10, 9, 8, 7. All right, here we go. Hold on.